I'm feeling a little spunky today here, Chris. You know what that means. Somebody's going to be writing a letter to some other company or something about how evil I am or something. Something bad's going to happen. But I'm going with it anyway. I'm just going to stick it to the man. Welcome, people. Is that screen is that like in the way? No.
No.
It's freaking me out a little bit. Anyway, what's going on? I went to the dentist for the 9,000th time, and I finally got the go-ahead to get the final tooth next week.
So next week is when
I got a nice cleaning and everything, no cavities.
Good.
I'm still alive.
So that's next Thursday?
Yep.
Okay.
Thursday getting the final. I don't even know what that bill's going to be, but holy crap. What do people do? I think I'm going to be like 13 grand into this deal for one tooth. I guess a lot of people end up with like some sort of flipper or some sort of retainer or something, or a bridge. With a bridge, they have to grind down your other great teeth and then just make 3 fake teeth. Man, so I feel fortunate, but man, it sucked going through this process.
It's like a months-long thing, right?
Month? You mean like year long? Yeah. I found out in November of last year. We'll be done November of this year. Also caused me to slide off the deep end a couple of times and laying in the corner, rocking back and forth in the fetal position. There's this show on Amazon Prime. Crap, I forget what it's called. It's some like chick show. I always get stuck into these things. And pull up Amazon Prime. It's
I'm sure somebody in the chat will tell us.
It's like
chick show.
It's something with the New York Times and like people and relationships or something. But the 5th episode, Anne Hathaway is bipolar. Now, I'm not bipolar, but I could relate so much with it. I saw it today for the first time. I really felt it. So I go in to get a cleaning, and I just can't come to like a rational conclusion that I'm like, okay. I'm just so focused on death and destruction that like there's this fog, this like black fog over me of just angst. I'm not having a panic attack or anything. I'm not at the level of passing out, fight or flight, but I'm like right on the edge of, what is it?
Modern love.
Yeah, modern love.
Modern love.
You gotta. It's great. Anyway, she's like, she has these highs and lows, like where she's up and then down, and so there's this one scene where she's like staring at the mirror and she's all fired up, and then she just like the black fog comes over her. So the opposite happened for me, where I'm sitting in the chair, and for some reason, it just subsides. And then I'm rational, and I'm like, well, if I have to get another tooth pulled, or I have some sort of gum disease or something, or some cavity or some issue, it's like no big deal. But then there are times where I just can't. It's so frustrating because I'm such a rational human being, where I can't reason my way out of like just get back to whatever happens kind of thing. Because I'm a relatively tough, like I can't, like pain doesn't really, it's not the pain that bothers me, it's the fear of the fear. And so I'm hoping to continue to work on that, and I know I'm going to keep working on that and try to get out of this hole of death loop. But it was interesting to see that scene, and I kind of felt that today, where it just subsided, and I was like, okay, cool, got this. Like halfway through. Like if I have a cavity, whatever, it doesn't really hurt. Just let's roll.
And that just sort of happened. It wasn't like you meant to do that, or you were doing any sort of thing that you learned?
No, yeah. The more I try, the more it stays. And for, up into, so when the tooth thing happened, I was building up to all day, every day of fog, just pure angst. The morning, the evening, talking with people that were visiting HQ, all these great things that were happening to me. And I'm in this angst, this like death angst of I'm going to die. But I'm not really afraid of dying. It's just that it's like completely irrational. It's irrational fear of fear. It's freaking frustrating. Because I'm such a rational, I like to think I'm reasonably intelligent, and I can't control it. It's so frustrating. So I'm able to control it better now. So it's isolated down to just the doctor, the dentist now. So it had gotten to where it spread throughout my entire life. So go watch that episode. And now I don't have bipolar disorder, so that's not the issue. I have obsessive compulsive disorder, where I'm obsessing over whatever it is I'm obsessing about. And no, being so OCD, stop saying that. I'm not mad at you if you say it, because I understand it. But when you say that, you sound kind of stupid. Doesn't have anything to do with being organized. It's nothing to do with organization. Organization can be a byproduct of some rituals that some people may have. I don't have those. Perfectionism is also another trait. But being somewhat organized and clean has nothing to do with it. So stop saying that.
All right, so let's see here. Oh, we still have the 2 thumbs down there. Before we even started today, we had 2 thumbs down, but now we're up to 9 thumbs up, so that's good. The ratio is
Let's get to 10,000 thumbs up.
Yeah, that'd be a lot.
We got 10. Look at that right there. Keep going. Keep going. Give me 11. Can I get 11? There's 11. Can I get 12? Give me 12. Oh, no. 13. 13. Give me 15. Can I get a 20?
Now you've also elicited 2 more thumbs down, though.
Oh no. You suck. Can I get a 10 thumbs down? 10 thumbs down, 10 thumbs down. Give me a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Can you even do that?
Oh, man.
Yeah, shoot.
Now we're going to double-digit thumbs down.
Nice.
Right. So, let's ease into some questions here with this one from Brian on Facebook. Last week, Matt said he didn't like the hazelnut M&Ms. What do you think of caramel M&Ms or caramel?
I don't know. I stick with the I normally stick with the peanut butter. I mean, why waste it? I don't want to risk it. If I'm going for it, I want to go with what I know. What I know is delicious beyond explanation. But I'm on day 4. So
day 4 of
clean.
All right.
Clean. I'm at 240.2. I was at 242.4.
It's good. You're coming down to my level now. It's good.
Oh, I'm gonna pass you like your head spinning. All I have to do is get motivated. So that's why I've got a little pep in my step. I worked out this morning right before the dentist. I'm all sweaty, and I'm thinking about going back and doing the workout again. I gotta be careful not to overtrain, because I get too excited and then I start overtraining and then I crash and burn. But I was talking with Rob Orlando, who's OG CrossFitter. He's one of my CrossFit crushes. He and I were talking last night for like an hour about CrossFit and gym and all that stuff.
So you watched like Modern Love and then an hour of Rob Orlando YouTube.
No, it was Rob Orlando first, and then
you had a great night last night.
I don't know. I just turned on the show. I'm like, man, I got to find something to watch. And then I watched 5 episodes. Michelle's like, where do you have this time? I'm like, I have no idea. I think shows move faster for me or something, because I can watch an entire season and it feels like record time.
Oh, good. Some of the thumbs down people switch to thumbs up. We'll keep updating that. It's 43-5
now. Nice.
All right, let's see here. Will we ever see any onboard riding footage of the SB100 from Cameron?
Yeah, I'm thinking I need to get a chest gimbal. There's a couple of companies that make it where you strap it to your chest, and so that the footage isn't so janky. But I just signed us up for an adventure race, Michelle, Ryan, and I. So I'd like to video that. And so if I have it, I might as well go out and do it. And you'll see me trying to chase everybody down. Bryce got a bike. You going to get a bike? Come ride with us?
Nope.
So Bryce and Ted are going to come ride.
See, if I got a bike, I'd ride with you too. Gave up riding in like 3 weeks, then I'd be stuck with a bike. So I don't want to do that.
No. You can ride my other bike.
Okay. Oh, yeah. If you let me ride your bike, I'll go with you guys.
You don't want to be able to fit on it. I think XL, the seat would go up high enough. Let's do it.
All right. Let's see. Oh, this is good from David here in the chat. I love this podcast so much. So nice to listen to it on the way to class.
That's cool.
There you go. And hopefully the guy from last week who was running the half marathon, Mike, was able to get the podcast up in time. So hopefully you got to listen to us while he was running.
Yeah, that's cool.
James Clark says, very ready for a full wash and talk and new content for Inside the Hex. Is Bryce back to get more sweet content out?
Yeah, everybody's yelling at me. Bryce is working on it right now. I had it done a day ago, but Bryce is getting it up. Hexcast, I kind of want to keep playing with the Corvette. I've been so darn preoccupied with messing with these cars. But the next episode of HexCast is going to be the master plan. Going through the master plan and what I'm thinking, what I'm going there, or what I'm thinking about there. And I only want to put that inside the Hex because people won't. The regular people that are watching won't understand that this is a dream. This is like a master long-term plan. I mean, it's 300,000 square feet of stuff, so with an airstrip. So I'm dreaming big, and who knows if I get there, but I'm going to share with people the master plan inside the Hex. So if you sign up and become a member, then you can, if you're not a member now, I said in the beginning that I was going to do, or my goal was to do a HexCast every week and a Hex vlog every week. But I don't want to contrive it. So I'm not lazy. I mean, I'm not sitting around doing nothing. It's just that I don't want to like sit down and like come up with an idea for it. It just, for me, every video that I've ever made has always just been, this is what I'm doing. And so if I have something more personal to say or share, like in HexCast or Hex Vlog this week, we're doing a lot of all the maintenance crap that we've been slacking on at the house. We're getting it all done right now. Right now, when I don't have any money, we're doing it. So because we just paid my taxes and bought a bunch of inventory. But what I want to do is I want to share what makes what fits, not just jam it down people's throats. So, and I'm pretty confident that the value of the heck inside the Hex, that just one or two of me sharing the business videos, if you're in business or you're in a career, I think is worth $60. So I'm not saying I'm going to slack on it, but my goal would be to do at least one video a week. Some weeks do more. But the last few weeks with all this traveling I've been doing, it's been hard to find something that fits, where I'm not just making a video that sucks just to ram it down people's throats, just to check the box. So just be patient with me, and I'm going to make sure that you get value for what you have there. But we should have one up, in an hour or so. Should be up and ready to go.
All right, Owen from Instagram wants to know, can you go in depth a little more with the lease of the other side of the building? How will you rearrange OGHQ?
Yeah, so just to recap, I was going to buy the building, and the gentleman that owns the building, he wanted a certain number for it, and the appraisal came in lower, and I'm like, I really don't want to get stuck with a building. Let's say 2 years from now, or 18 months from now, or 3 years from now, or 5 years from now, whatever it is. I don't want to have overpaid for it. Because what happens if we're doing well still and the economy is not doing particularly well? Then I can end up with a building that I paid $550,000 for that's worth $400,000. The appraisal came in at $475,000, and my first reaction was, well, $75,000 for the convenience of it, I would pay it. But my coach and Michelle and you and everybody else talked me out of it, and doing the smart thing, which is, I'm looking at the value of the convenience of where it is. But I also, again, let's say, we have an economic pullback, but we're in the midst of wanting to move to another building, and then the thing's worth $350,000. And I can't sell it, and I'm stuck with it. I don't want to be in the real estate business. I'm not interested in having tenants. I'm not interested in having or being a landlord. And if you hire a property management company, then there goes any profitability you'd have on it. I'm just not interested in that. That's not my passion. I'll get rich some other way. So I don't want to distract myself from what I'm good at, and be focusing on buying real estate and owning it. So I don't want to have the building and have to rent it. So through this process of me not overpaying, Chris, who owns the building, just said, you know what, I'm just going to hang on to it, but he's building a garage at his house, so he doesn't have to come over here all the time. He says, look, I'm getting older, and my wife is tired of me being over there all the time. She'd rather me be here, so she gave me the go-ahead to build a bigger house with a bigger garage attached to it, so you can have the rest of the building. So I'm signing a 3-year lease with a 2-year option, and with first right to purchase if he was going to sell it, which he may sell it at some point, and we could still be a tenant of the next purchaser. And so I'll be leasing the building for $3,900 a month. It's 3,600 square feet, and so the other side has epoxy. So what we'll end up doing is our Swiss Tracks already arrived. We're going to just put Swiss Tracks over top of it. I think, at least for the time being, because I don't own the building, I'm going to treat it a little bit differently than if I had owned it. So we're not going to cut any holes in the wall, at least not anytime. I don't have any plans to do it, and we're going to make that like the bulk storage area. And so I'm going to get pallet racking and really fill that area up. You know what I didn't think about, which might make sense, is maybe we take that big rack that's right in the middle there. We'll have to see. When we take a lot of the bulk stuff, like, would it make sense to open up the facility and take that long rack that I have next to my work area out of there? And can we fit all of our stuff that we pull all the time? Can we fit it on this side without having to walk all the way over there to pull and pick? I think we probably could. Think about if we limited, like, we didn't keep like the full, like we have a whole shelf full of P&S stuff. Maybe we just do what is that freaking idiot doing? Get rid of that guy in the comments. That's just, anyway, that's driving me crazy. I'm looking at this and freaking tools just posting one letter at a time. So yeah, maybe we should do that. It just dawned on me right now. My dad's gonna be like, absolutely not.
I was gonna say, we'll run this by your dad.
So I think that would be kind of cool, and then we could have a little more room to stage and pack. Maybe we get another packing table there. I don't know. Well, I'll have to think about that. But we have 1,600 square feet on the other side. We have another office, so maybe I can have my office back. Oh, I don't really need one. But we have another office, another entry, so we may move the guys over to that entry. And we'll see. Kind of, if we are in here for several years, it might make sense to pay someone to cut a hole in the wall, and then just refinish it, put the wall back together if we needed to. So yeah, that's the story. And so we have a 3-year lease, so that gives me time to figure out, is this where we're going to be? If we're doing what we're doing now, then I can we'll all have a decent life and decent income, and it'll be good. I do think this is going to get much bigger as time goes on. So anyway, that's the story.
All right, let's see. I want to see if you have any. We have a couple of folks who ask about specific products here. Do you have any experience with IGL coatings? That's from Zach on Facebook.
No. I see it pop up everywhere. IGL is a boutique, brand that I don't know the whole story behind the company. I may try to spend a little time with them at SEMA. Lots of installers are seem to like the product. It seems to me like it's a little harder to install than some of the other coatings, like the coatings that I tend to prefer. But I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently on it. What kind of frustrates me of some of these companies like that is, where are you getting it? Why is it going to be so secretive? Just tell me where you're getting it, who's making it, how you're making it. And none of them, in fairness to them, none of them are really forthright with any of that stuff. But where are you making it? Well, tell me the story. I'd be bought in if somebody would educate me. If it was a great product. I really don't even have a lot of interest in a lot of these smaller companies because they're not forthright. Like, tell me what it is and where it's coming from. All of these coating companies. CarPro to me always seemed to be the most forthright. G-Technic, I've spent time with the owner Rob, and they seem to be pretty, tell us what's going on with it. Geon, I don't feel like has as much. A company like Dr. Beasley, Jim. I need to get Jim on the podcast. But Jim is very forthright with what he's coming up with. Optimum has been pretty great about that kind of stuff. But most of them, and I guess I understand why, but I just wish that there was a little bit more transparency into all of this stuff instead of being so secretive and so scared that somebody's going to find them out. We all know they're not making. Most of them aren't making this stuff. Just let's be a little bit more honest, and then I would be more bought into some of these things. That's why I like P&S so much. I'm in the freaking lab with the guy. Most of these other companies, they don't have a lab. There is no lab because they don't make it, and that's fine. But tell me where and why and how. What's the story? Why do we gotta be so secretive? Unless it's bullcrap. That's my first reaction. I don't want to pick on IGL because I don't know their story very well, but I'm just saying in general with companies, and I just feel like it's bullcrap.
All right, Noe wants to know here in the chat, is the garage giveaway doing better initially than the 1M giveaway?
I don't know. What do you think?
Well,
I haven't talked about it yet, really.
Right, but the email went out, and that's what kind of prompted this. So this is the orders so far that have giveaway items in it. So I would say that based on 4 days.
So the first thing is the garage giveaway is going to cost me less than the 1M for sure.
Correct.
So you figure the garage giveaway, let's say the detailing package is what
a little under 8.
So that cost me, let's say, 5.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And then the garage is we have slated at 85,000. So the garage will probably cost me, say, 50. So that's 55,000 in cost plus the attorney, so we're at 60. I don't think we really have any other costs. We may advertise a little bit. So let's say what was I just at? I was at 55, 60. So $65,000. So that's $65,000 versus say $100K on the 1M. I think we said it was 95, but it was probably a little bit more than that. And then from a business perspective, and being fully transparent here. So if I have 55,000 into it, then, or I'm sorry, 65,000 into it, and if I do it, if it goes the way I'm hoping, I'm going to make infinitely more on the future sales that this thing will do just from the videos of this process along the way of flying someone here and shooting videos and designing and I plan on doing this as often as makes sense. And we're going to be creative with what products you can purchase. And, right now we did some, winter type clothes, but, not everybody wants a t-shirt. And so I'll figure out ways to come up with things where people can buy. If you're not really interested in any shirts, just buy the dumb coin, and that helps me out because it's the most profitable of all of those items. Or just buy the coin and tell us to punt it. And then you have an entry. Because I'm telling you, this is literally going to be the freaking coolest thing that I've ever seen. Like, maybe because I love the stuff so much, and I couldn't even imagine. Like, even you, like, who doesn't give a crap about any of this, maybe you're in a garage, and, like, I showed up with, like, the coolest stuff. Even if you weren't, like, super into it, like, there's no one on the planet that wouldn't want all this stuff, Be amazing. Be like, I'm going to come to your house and put a Sub-Zero refrigerator in and a Wolf cooktop. And you're like, no, I don't cook. What would you say? No, it would be amazing.
Bring it in. Let's go.
The only thing that if I didn't care about it, I'd be like, you just do it. I don't want to be a part of it, which, I'll be fine with. But so imagine that somebody wins it that's like super into this stuff like I am. And then imagine if they kind of like what I was making, then I get to come hang out with them. So that's kind of cool. Imagine if somebody who really likes what we're doing, and I've met some people. I'm just shocked that like like they think I'm cool or something. Like I'm like, no, bro, I'm just from the freaking trailer park here, you know. And but so imagine that somebody who really is into what we're doing here and has a garage and they're 29 and have their first house, and I frickin' show up with like stuff that you may never get in your lifetime, right? I mean, a level of cabinets and tools and air compressor and flooring and lift and everything that, and even the detailing line that, you know, I'm hoping somebody wins it that would never have an opportunity to accumulate this stuff in their life. I would argue that nobody has that, but let's just say that you made a few bad choices and you didn't quite get, you know, the education you needed, and it's just not in the cards for you to have a $20,000, $25,000 array of cabinets and tools. I just think it's so freaking cool. Thanks to Leo for smacking me in the head for making me do this. You know, Leo, Russian Leo, he's the one who said, you know, you should do a garage giveaway. I'm like, I never freaking thought of that. That's a darn good idea. And, you know, I'm honored the source of the idea. And then what really sparked it for me is when I saw how crazy people were going and it was so cool. I was just pulling stuff off the shelf. I didn't think anything of it. I was pulling stuff off the shelf. I'm like, shoot, I'm going to give this guy like, you know, $3,000 or $4,000 worth of stuff. It would have cost me a fortune and lots of time, and I'd been all worried about having to ship that M1M. And then I saw people's reaction to that. And I'm like, oh, wait, this is what we need to do. Because this is what I would want. Screw the car. I'd want all the stuff. I'll get my own freaking car. I don't want some car that you think is cool. I want to get a car that you know. I want to get all the stuff that is, you know, best. A lot of it's best in class, best in the world. So I'm fired up about it.
Yeah, for those of you who are asking questions in the chat, if you just go to obsessedgarage.com, there's a banner at the top of the page. You click there, it tells you everything you need to know. And yes, there is a complete Krinsla solution in the first prize as well, just the car washing deal. So yeah, and I'm sure you could convince me to do an on-wall solution if that's, you know, for first prize, if that's what you want, over an 1122, or you wanted a 1322 with a card on it or some of the Auto Fanatic card or something. I know the attorney is going to yell at me, but I'm sort of flexible on all of that, and it's going to be insane. All right, so let's speak to that real quick, because Mike Parashow on Facebook says, I have a 1,700 square foot garage. Mm-hmm. If I win the garage giveaway, will I have the option to pay for the additional flooring, cabinets, etc.?
We'll just do it at cost. Garage? Yeah, I'll do it at whatever cost is.
There you go. Yeah, that won't be a problem.
Depending on how much money I raise, you know me, I might just do it all.
Catch him on a good day.
Yeah. Yeah, I might. I mean, and especially if it's someone really cool. I know Mike would be all about it, and he would be helping, and he'd be helping me do it and helping me put it together, and I'd probably look at it as I'd spend the money just because I'd appreciated the participation, you know, in it, and helping me do it, and we get to do it together, and letting me video it and spend time with his family, you know, for that week or however long it takes me to do it, and so, you know, if that happens, gosh, I hope that happens. I hope I have to make that decision if I spend another $8,000 to get the garage done right.
All right, let's go. This question here is from Gio on Facebook. This product-related question. Using a 5.0 nozzle on my AR630 TSS.
Smart.
I am only seeing about 775 PSI on an inline MTM pressure gauge. Stepping down to a 4.0 gets me 1,000 PSI, but sacrifices a little GPM. What should be addressed to get the same results as you did in your test? He's using a 6.5-foot Ely inlet hose, a 50-foot Cobra Jack, and an SGS 28 with a 40-degree nozzle. So I think that's pretty similar to what we were doing.
Yeah, interesting. I wouldn't think you'd have to go all the way down to a 4.0. I mean, those MTM gauges I don't think are particularly accurate. I would go more by feel in that case. You know, but I understand how we'd probably feel a little bit like I would feel like if I felt like I went, let's say I took my car to the dyno, and even though I was running like 11s and the car only dynoed at like 400, I'd still feel like something was wrong, you know, and I thought it was supposed to be 500. Obviously, check the unloader, which I'm sure I'm guessing he has. Make sure the unloader is open completely. So make sure you're getting max flow. Because I mean the pump would surge if it wasn't getting enough water. The pump either works or it doesn't. So if it was starving for water, your pressure and output really shouldn't be affected. I'd put the 5.0 and stick it in a bucket and see how long, and run it for a minute and see how much water you get. But again, I do it by feel. It's a little harder for you to do it by feel if you don't have, I've tried so many pressure washers and done so much of this stuff. Gosh, I got to get the spreadsheet done.
Still got some Stanleys in there.
Yeah, shoot. I got to get to work. It's cooling down a little bit.
It's nice here.
Well, not today. It isn't. But yeah, I got to get to work on that. So I promise I will get this. I get this done. I've just got so much awesome. There's no excuse. But I mean, and I'm not sitting around here. That's for darn sure. I'm making everybody run around like crazy people. And I've got so many I almost need to release 2 videos a day. We got a backlog of videos coming out the rear. I almost don't even like the whole do it once a day thing, but it's what you kind of need to do for YouTube. But we're starting to see a little bit of growth. The Corvette is certainly helping that. And maybe I'll get to 200,000, and maybe someday it'll grow. I need to stop being so stubborn. What was I talking about?
M&Ms.
No.
No, we were talking about AR.
Yeah.
Feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a 5.0 unless I had some factory freak. Maybe I should. I need to get one here. Ooh, what's this monies? What are these monies?
It's Yoshi, who was the big contributor last time to the zebra cakes.
Okay.
So his question this time: how much is it going to cost to have Maddie down a thing of Oreos?
Like a whole package? That would put a little bit more hurting on
double
me.
Stuff.
Sunday I'll do it for free because that's my cheat day. So I'm gonna do Sunday cheat days.
Add that to your vlog for the next Hex vlog.
Should I make that just the vlog?
Yeah.
Just sit there and eat an entire. It's a little easier to down the golden ones than it is the others. Like I can eat more of the golden. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I'll just eat them dry. It's just no problem. I mean, you guys saw it. I'm not full. I wish I was lying. I wish I was full of crap. I need to freaking eat an entire thing of double stuff.
Yes.
Double stuff tastes better, so
Yeah,
I'd rather do double stuff, even though that'll put a little more hurting on me.
That's what you do for the content. You can watch Modern Love and eat a whole sleeve of Oreos. Just vlog that. You'd be like Mystery Science Theater, your commentary on Modern Love. Oh, man. Let's see.
It takes a lot to admit these things that I'm telling the world.
Oh, man. Good job, Yoshi.
That's one of those things that, I was talking about this on the video the other day. I give people, some people are so stupid that, I tell them, what to call me out on, and they do it, and they think they're smart. I'd be like, man, I have no idea what I'm doing with these spindles. They're like, you have no idea what you're doing on these spindles. I'm like, well, didn't I just say that, dum-dum? What am I, you're not smart. You're not getting me on that one.
Oh, goodness. All right. Jojo wants to know, will you do a wash and chat on the Raptor anytime soon? Curious how the solution finish has held up on it.
Yeah, that one needs a full detail.
That probably gets the most mileage, right?
So shoot. The M5 is the only car that's dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
M3 needs detail. The truck needs detailed. The Corvette needs detailed. And what else do I got? GT3 needs detailed. Oh, Lord. I got to sell some cars.
2 of them going soon. Be ready, people.
So M5, I'm going down to PSI on Monday. I got to make sure that Sean's good with that because I think I think he might be in Vegas. I think he's back. So I'm supposed to go there Monday, Tuesday to get the M5 done. We'll list it for sale. How much do you think I should list that for, people? Tell me in the comments.
Well, I have a spreadsheet with all the associated costs so we can have a good benchmark.
Yeah, I mean, it was 57,000 on the car and then probably another 20 plus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 75. Yeah, I'd probably try to sell it for 75 and everybody would tell me I'm stupid and crazy and, But man, I saw that thing rolling down the road. That thing looks sweet.
Richard here in the chat says, Wash and Chat is core to Obsessed Garage. Let's have it back. So I guess it's been a while since we had one.
Yeah, it has been a few weeks since I've done one. But good news is all the cars are dirty and all need to be washed. So I'll probably work on several wash and talks this week, and I'll just video all of them. And I always get nervous that I'm doing that too much, but apparently people don't think that, because I always find something to yap about for an hour while I'm doing my thing, and it's cooling off, so it makes it a lot nicer. And they just pressure washed off all the gunk from the wash bay, and I got a new bubble out there. It makes me feel good, and everything's looking clean.
All right, speaking of that, EC from Facebook says, in your house tour video, we saw your outdoor cats.
Yep.
How do you keep them from jumping onto the cars?
I don't know. They just don't do it.
I guess that's
The only thing
problem
they
for some
do,
people.
they just sit on the truck tires, which is perfect. So they'll sometimes sit up on the truck tires, but they don't mess with the cars. They'll sleep under them sometimes. I don't know. They just never did. I think Chloe's gotten on one car once or twice before, but she's pretty legit. She doesn't mess them up. But yeah, I don't know. They just don't do it. Well, the orange one is too fat and slow to do anything, so he just lays on the ground. He wouldn't even want to get up there if he probably couldn't.
All right, more love here in the chat for the Wash and Talks. Very much looking forward to 5 Wash and Chats. More Wash and Talks, and that's from David and Sean. Both say Saturday and Sunday mornings. That's what they watch, I guess.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I'll crank some out for you guys for sure. I mean, it's something, I've got stuff to talk about, as always.
James says there's so much CSL and EXO on your cars, they probably just slide right off. Steven says the cats just beat off.
Shoot. Yeah.
Just sliding right off. Let's see. Sean Myers, I believe we were just talking about him. What is the OG solution for sound deadening an office-sized area? Do the panels of the GT3 in the podcast room service sound deadening as well? Thanks in advance.
Correct. Yeah, those are GIK Acoustics panels. They're bass traps. So yeah, they are acoustic treatments. So I have them on the ceiling and on the walls. You should really do some calculation on that, on where your first and second reflection points are. But because this room, we have some decent speakers over here, but I don't use them very often because Chris stole my office. But theoretically, you would want to build off of your reference point for audio, and a first and second reflection point would be where off axis, where sound hits the wall and then comes back to you in a sort of a diffused way. And a lot of times you don't want that diffusion. You want to absorb that. But you can make a room sound too dead. GIK, if you have a room, let's say you're building a theater or building a 2-channel audio room or some sort of recording studio of some sort, they have a service. You call them, you send them your room, and they lay it out for you, and they show you what you should do, where you should put bass traps, where you should put. They also have what do they call it? Diffuser panels inside of some of these to keep the room so that it's not so dead. There's a happy medium there. But yeah, GIK Acoustics is the company that I like. There's lots of companies out there, but that foam crap that you see people buying from Amazon, they glue it on the wall and stuff, doesn't do jack. So you want some real quality. And I would say the GIK stuff is in the mid-end from that, because they lack a little bit of squaring on them. They're just, it's wood with polyfill in it, basically, wood frame, with fabric, surrounding it. So they could be better, but for what you're paying, it's in that sort of mid-end acoustic treatment solution.
Let's see here from Facebook. Mark wants to know, will the new Mosmatic stuff be added to the pressure washer packages as you get them in stock?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So I don't know what we're going to do there. I've got a lot of... We've got to get some organization done to the site, and I need to just spend some time going in to each product and just putting my stamp on it, just digging into it. And I've done a really good job of letting the people that I've hired to do the job. So Mike and Bryce and Chris and my dad and everybody. And I've stayed focused on, what I'm supposed to be doing, which is, thinking more globally. But I need to get in and think a little bit more granularly and get squared away. We do have to go into our collections. So each one of our separate collection pages. So let's say, for instance, car washing is a collection. So the car washing page needs to have a collection header. And so that's what we're working on now, where it has some text and some information for searchability from Google crawlers and things like that. But we're in the midst of building a really legitimate site. I mean, from SEO, SMO, and advertising ability. So we're building a really, really clean, organized, structured business. And I would really like to get in and throughout 2020 get into the nitty-gritty, the details of each product, maybe take a product a day and see how we can improve. Do I need to shoot a new video? Do we need to write new description? Do I need to, do we need some different photos? How can we improve each product and, of course, each collection, so that we have the most information available to anywhere on the planet? That's the goal. It's already pretty good, but I want it to be great.
We have a super chat here that I'm looking up real quick here, because I haven't heard of this. So you might have heard of this.
What?
Jeeper 1378 should try the new Little Debbie cookies and cream cakes. Screw zebra cakes. Glad I contribute to Maddie's potential massive heart attack. So
No.
Cookies and cream cakes.
Actually, I'm good. So my current structure, my current plan is 6 days on, 1 day off. So I'm down to oh yeah.
That looks good.
Oh yeah.
It's
I'm gonna get me some of them.
Ooh, yeah. Thanks, Jeeper.
I'll get a couple of boxes of those. Get me a thing of Oreos, some barbecue chips.
So cheat day just means all out, like.
Yeah, get as sick as possible.
Gotcha.
Just eat whatever I want to eat.
And then hopefully the other 6 days kind of counteract that.
It will. I mean, if I, because I was eating 7 days a week, like, Oreos and whatever I could stuff down my throat.
Yeah, 1 out of 7 is better than 7 out of 7.
Yeah.
Let's see here. How about a live podcast from the Wash Bay? That'd be great to see a Wash and Chat podcast.
Yeah, Bryce and I were just talking about that. We should just live stream right out here at the and when I was jerking around with the Corvette putting plugs on it. We should just do that.
Let's see. Dan says, I like the rant and rinse better than Wash and Chat. That's good.
It depends on how angry I am at some 25-year-old kid who thinks they're smarter than me. I wish I could just let it go and just realize that when they're 32, they're going to realize that old Maddie was right, instead of trying to tell me how much I suck and how smart they are. I probably would have been the same way, though. So, what are you searching now?
Well, we have some chat here from Blendmount, who I know you've done lots of stuff
probably
on.
Sebastian.
Says, hi, Matt, just added your logo at the bottom of each banner. So I was going to check out. I didn't know what he meant by banner here. We'll check that out.
That's cool. Yeah, I have a great relationship with those guys. I feel like I'm taking advantage because he sends me. I keep buying cars and keep sending me a blend mount, and I should just buy them. So I feel like I'm taking advantage of. He's always sending me them because I'm buying too many stupid cars. But I'm about to put it in the Corvette. I got to get a radar detector and everything before I get arrested. Too many HPs. Too many bald eagles.
So that's just the mount, though, right? That's not the. It's not the actual radar detector.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
They also do hardwire kits. They do mirror taps. They do, they do all kinds of stuff.
I recognize that car.
Yeah, cool.
Nice. All right, he needs one for a 2018 Ford F-150. There you go.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
Corvette. All right, we have a super chat here. We got a address from Cody. Any chance we could see some love for Audi on the channel? Maybe an RS? ?
I had an S4, I have an A4. An RS6 Avant I think would be cool. I don't like the RS7. I think an RS3 is a little too, I'm a little past that. If I was going to go down to that, I would probably rather have a Golf and do a Golf build. I was talking with the guys at APR about doing some sort of, VW build. It'd be kind of cool. But I've said this several times, and maybe it'll change, but I think this year, I would rather, this coming year, I want to focus on garage design specifically my own garage. And so theoretically, I'll be selling the M5, selling the Corvette, getting a GT4, maybe late next year or early the following year. And kind of slow down on some of the car modifications for a little bit, and focus on building my garage, so that way then I could buy an air-cooled Porsche and then go back to different projects. And I'll probably always still have some project going on, but not at this. I don't know why I kind of got into this at this moment, where I've got a real interest in the C7 Corvette, and the real interest in the M5 and the 1M, of course. So it's been a fun little run here, but I might take a little bit of time off of that. And if I was planning and contriving content, I just know that the way for Obsessed Garage to become a viable global brand and be a $100 or $200 million business is via garage. The garage. That's what I want it to be. The cars are just something that goes in the garage. So I don't want to buy and sell cars. I don't really want to buy and sell parts for cars. What I want to do is I want to design garages, and I want to supply garage stuff like no other place on the planet, and I want to build that. Then I think that makes it that could make it a really massive business.
Let's see here. Johnny wants to know, do you have any recommendations on products for Glacier White?
Colors. This is one of those kind of late '90s, early 2000s things where certain companies would say, "Well, this is a better," specifically Swiss Wax was one kind of the leader in that, and saying, "Look, we've developed this wax or this color paint or this car." I don't think you really need to do anything differently for any color with modern products. You're just gonna. The key would be polishing it. If you become proficient in polishing, then that will make the car look the best, and then from there you can choose to wax it or coat it. The most important part will be the polishing part to get it corrected so it looks nice and deep and shiny, and then you can just decide, do I want a little wetter depth look of wax, or do I want some longevity and maybe a little bit more water capability for water, better behavior with chemicals and water reaction and stuff like that, to keep it clean. So I wouldn't change the process. So what I would do if I had that color car is I would go to obsessedgarage.com and I would buy the car washing and the wheel cleaning and the decon, and then I do G-Technic CSL top of EXO. That's what I do. And so the whole purpose of obsessedgarage.com is to provide you with what I'm doing, not just provide you with some crap. This is literally the stuff that I'm using, or else I'm punting it, and doing something else, or selling you. If I change, then I'll change it. That's why I'm kind of confused. I'm almost certain that I've got to get Wolf's glass sealant back, because I don't think the H2O Go or H2 Go is nearly as good.
All right, from the chat here, Jonathan has a Corvette question. I don't recall hearing it in the 2 install videos, but did you lower the car using the drop spindles only, and how much was it lowered total?
So this was a common comment, is that you do know that you could lower the car just using the wheel bolts. I said, yes, I understand that, but on a Z07 car with MagneRide, the bolts don't really do a whole heck of a lot. So in the rear, the bolts were already at their lowest point. The fronts, they're not. So what I did is I put the spindles on, and then I stuck it on the ground with the rears all the way lowered and the fronts where they were, and we ended up with what we got, which was darn near 2 inches of lowering. I mean, it was an incredible change. I don't know if it's because the car has MagneRide and the Z07 which is part of the Z07 package, but it is remarkably lower, like 1 3/4 inches in the rear and over an inch and a half in the front, which is real world, a real world difference. And then add the sway bars in. We'll see how the ride quality is. I haven't really pushed it because the car was misfiring, which I think I just fixed by getting the proper plugs gapped with proper wires, MSD wires. And but yeah, the car looks better. It will theoretically handle better, and then I think it's acceptable enough for me that I don't think I need to do coilovers. So I'm going to leave the MagneRide alone, so I have some adjustability, and the car is sitting proper. So we'll see how Vossen did on the offsets. So I'm picking those up on Monday, Tuesday.
All right, so Ty wants to know, would Matt be interested in helping in helping build an OG spec garage with all OG products? Yes, definitely. Just email Kyle, OSS Garage, and those two can get together.
Yeah, so what I want to do is, I'm obviously not going to be able to be involved in every single one, right? Every single person's garage. But, 4, 5, 6 a year, I want to be a part of through either a giveaway of some sort, or if there's a major project where, somebody's going to spend a bunch of money, and compensate me for the time, to come out and do it, then absolutely. But I'm going to have to. That's going to have to be somewhat selective. I'm actually hoping to spend a little time with Motor Trend. About talking about and pitching the idea of a show of doing, what I'm talking about here, doing what I would do on my YouTube channel, but pitching the idea of an actual produced show where I go out and design garages and then we build it on, in an episode. So I think that's a show that I would want to watch. So I want to be, the fixer-upper of garages. You go in and you start to finish. And design it, and I would love to have, again, what's that software called, the architecture software? Revit. Yeah. So use Revit, and then create modeling and be able to kind of show that being done on camera, and edit it down to an hour video or an hour episode, and do 10 episodes a year. I think that would be my dream, to be able to do that. But for now, if you bought $55,000 worth of stuff, or $80,000 worth of stuff, I'm sure I could be convinced to come and do it. What you don't do is ask me to be a part of it and ask for a discount. That doesn't make any sense. It'd be like someone coming here and I spend 2 hours with you walking you through all the products. Don't frickin' ask for a discount. That's ridiculous. The guy that should be asking for a discount is the one that didn't need me. It just buys everything. But nobody asks for discounts. It's too much work. So anyway.
All right, after you lowered the Corvette, did you do the recalibration of the MagRide?
No, I'm going to get a DSC controller. I don't think it's as simple as I don't think you can just simply say, well, I'm going to recalibrate it. That's what seems to be a little lacking. Like any other car, any other high-end car, if you change things, then the DME is going to adjust air fuel and things like that, like Porsche. We're going to give it 50 or 60 horsepower via a plenum and an exhaust, and the DME is sophisticated enough to do its own recalibration, where on the Corvette, I'm going to have to tune it because otherwise it's not going to work. Like it just won't. It'll pull timing or start to knock, or there'll be all kinds of issues because it's not as sophisticated. But I don't think there's much you can do specifically outside of just buying a DSC controller and getting a little bit of improvement. I don't think you can get in and just start adjusting. Maybe you can, but there's something I don't know about. But I don't know how you could do that without doing tons and tons of laps. So, we lowered it 1.5 inches. Should be fine.
All right, one last Corvette question here from Jonathan Edwards on Facebook. What do you think it will take for your feelings on the Corvette to improve? Your current exposure with it revolves around its build quality, fit, finish, etc.
You can't. Just go sit in it. I'm looking out the roof. It's not possible. There's nothing we can do to that car to make me love it. It's just not going to happen.
That was another question, by the way. Are you going to do a video with the roof off driving?
Yeah. And it's so funny. People are like, you need to watch Cletus's video, and he got a new seat. I'm not putting a Tillet hunk of crap seat in my freaking car and have to sit. He's basically sitting on a piece of plastic. I'm not doing that. I'd rather have to duck down a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's a fun car. It's something that's it's an interesting project. It's a bunch of different things that I've never experienced before. It's funny watching people, and I'm doing the drop spindles and just sharing the process of figuring it out, and they're yelling at me and how you should do this or that, and I kind of get a kick out of doing that. Like, who else has done it? I mean, who else? No one's made a video of this, and if they did, it would look just like this unless they edited it out. Ken, who comments a lot of times, he sent me a video of Chris Fix, and Chris is editing the video down to make him look as smart as possible. I would be willing to bet that Chris is a young guy. I would be, and I don't think Chris has ever been a mechanic in his life, but I could be wrong. But I think that I could hold my own if we were doing, make some mechanical stuff together. Those guys are editing themselves down to make them look like this is how you do it. Well, I'm showing you the whole thing of how it actually goes when I got a blood hand today. That's how it goes. And you can, maybe I could sit down. I don't have freaking time for this. I'm going to read the service manual on the car. I'm going to start whacking on stuff and we'll figure it out. And I always, every single time, to date, I've never had to flatbed my car somewhere. I've always fixed it myself. Every time. Now, I may need to go get an alignment or go get something adjusted or tweaked or something like that. But I've never had it where I couldn't put it back together myself, even when I was young and stupid. Even earlier on in life when I bought a Toyota header and we forgot to put the dipstick back in, it shot oil all over it and stained the whole thing and ruined it. And it took us hours and hours and hours because then the test pipe was hitting the darn shift linkage. We didn't know what to do. All you do is heat up those two sensors and bend it a little bit. And little things like that over the years. When you're young and stupid, you just don't know how to do things. But I'm telling you, if I took the car to a shop that had never done drop spindles before, there are no instructions. Doesn't come with instructions. Doesn't come with a list of the tools you need. There are no videos on it. So you could buy the service manual and sit down and read through that, I guess, or Alley Data or whatever these guys were telling me to go on, which I'm not interested in that either. Or I could just look at it, assess it, and then use the tools that I have to get it taken apart. And then everybody's saying, "Well, you're not using the boot separator proper, the joint separator properly." I said, "Do you really think I'm not too stupid to stick the fork in there and hammer on the end of it?" Of course, I wanted to do that. It wouldn't fit. Otherwise, I would have done that. But I need to stop fighting back because I can't win against people that don't understand that. That if let's say they did it one time in their life, like they did this one install of headers on their car one time, and they forgot about how painful it is to do it. There's just no way that some dude, first time, first try with a new car that he's never had, goes in his garage and it doesn't end up the way that it ends up for me. Unless you're just a gifted mechanic. And I've sat there with a video camera and followed many gifted mechanics, and it all seems to go the same way. I've yet to see anybody just kind of bang, bang, slap, everything's perfect. It doesn't work that way.
All right, we are privileged to have Dr. Phil in the chat with us. Even his picture, that's pretty funny.
Okay.
But it's a CrossFit question. Is Matt doing the open workouts? And if so, how have you been doing?
No, I'm not. I was gone on 20.1. And then when I saw 20.2, I'm like, screw it. Frickin' toes to bars are for little babies. So, nah, I just skipped it this time because I'm in terrible shape. But I'm 4 days. 4 days in. I took 2 weeks off.
4 days in.
I already beat Michelle today. In fairness, though, Michelle was jerking around with the rower, but I still would have beaten her anyway, even if she'd tried. Because then I would have tried a little bit more. Yeah.
And so next week we're going to check in, and you're going to say you're 11 days in.
Yeah.
On next week's. All right.
Because I did I did Grace the other day. 2 days back after taking a bunch of time off at maximum fatness, and so I did 248 Grace. That's not too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, slow for me, but but not bad. So
All right, so there you go, Dr. Phil. No, don't be checking the leaderboard for Matt's name. You won't find him there.
I may or may not have bought a CrossFit gym, so we'll cover that someday in the future.
Mike on Facebook wants to know, I'm about to enter the polishing/protection world this spring.
Okay.
I've done some research on it. In terms of affordability, I wondered about going with a Griot's Garage polisher. What do you think about that? Where should I get pads? What's the easiest first-time polish to use?
Yeah, I think that's not a bad idea. The Griot's entry level, the G9, seems like a pretty viable machine. If you can't, swing the $400-something for a Rupes, I think that's a solid option. I do like the idea of taking, especially if you're new to it, I like taking the DA, the dual action polisher route versus the forced rotation route. Forced rotation is easier to learn, quicker, because the pad never stalls. But yeah, I think the G9 is a pretty awesome. I'm glad to see. It seems like Griot's kind of did some homework. They went back to their roots of trying to develop stuff instead of just copying stuff, like everybody seems to be doing. And so, that's what I liked about the Griot's. What's the 21? Is it called G21? Whatever they're 21 and their 15 millimeter orbit. It kind of stinks that they didn't come up with their own orbits, but they at least attempted to create their own version of it instead of just copying, like a Max Shine would, making a janky version.
The Boss, that's what they call it.
Yeah, the
BG.
boss line and stuff. Yeah, they're putting in an effort to improve. I mean, you see that with Griot's. They have great bottles. I think they have too many products. I think Griot's would take off. I think that they would come back to some level of prominence if they just would get rid of some old products and simplify it and make literally cut 70% of the products they have out. Just get rid of them. I don't care if somebody's using them. They're looking at them all as a line item. They must be. But get rid of a lot of the junk. Stop selling tchotchkes. Because they have such great chops. They have, money behind them. They have, a name. If I were them, I'd stop sending catalogs out and focus on, Facebook and Instagram. But not focusing on Facebook and Instagram with 20-year-olds. Get people who actually know business. And start to learn their products better, from the top all the way down. So disappointed when I met Nick and Richard Griot. They didn't even know, they couldn't answer the questions about like the surface, whatever the surface foaming solution and stuff. So, this is coming from a place of a Griot super fan, But I was at their store and out in Seattle, and there's like a freaking 1,000 products. It's insane. And with the way the world is today, what they used to do, they just put their name on a lot of different products, but I think it's harder to do that now. So the G9 there's nothing else like that. So it's a really interesting polisher that I think is viable. So yeah, I would do that, and then I would just stick with the Mormon polishing stuff. Jescar, Sonax. And if you had those two with Meguiar's microfiber cutting pads, no one else's cutting pads can touch Meguiar. So Lake Country would be, I think, second best. And then maybe the Buff and Shine, the Euro. But the Meguiar's pads are the best. There's no question. And then I would probably do, on the G9, I would do thinner pads. So I'd probably do the Meguiar's, their thinner foam pads, or maybe just the Griot, stick with the Griot's pads. Another great polish is the Griot's fast correction cream, and then finish with perfect finish.
Let's see. I have a couple questions here from me, so I'll address to give you a little break here. Chris, how's the truck? From Jonathan Edwards. Have you washed it yet? Trucks. I like the truck a lot. I have not washed it yet, but Rex is gonna help me. We're gonna make it nice. He's gonna help me do some coating or something on it. I don't know. But yeah, I like it a lot. Even though we found out digging deep that the truck spent the first 11,000 miles of its life in Canada. We found that out. I looked at the Carfax. I shouldn't have done that. They bought it as a fleet vehicle for the Ministry of Transportation somewhere in Canada. So
Canadians, They get you.
The
Trying
Canadians
to
are
stick
always
it
there.
to you. He probably left a little dookie somewhere cracked in there.
Well, there was one recall issue, so I went and got that fixed. And then the next day, the check engine light came on. I was like, they screwed with it at the dealership. So I got one more trip to them to get that right. The good news is in the waiting room, they have great treats. And
You don't eat
all you
that,
can
do
eat.
you?
I eat a couple, and I bring some
Gross
back
as-
for your dad. I bring back the famous Amos cookies for your dad and Ted.
Ugh, that's so gross.
No, they're the closed packages, so it's not just like
okay.
open. It's like a package.
You would eat all that crap. I don't want anything to do with any of that. Nobody wants anything for free.
I do. It's part of what they have to do for me. Every 30 minutes, I go grab another one. So
That's what is wrong with you? You're making some coffee there and getting all prepped, and you're really enjoying your time there at that
I do.
stupid thing. Like if I owned a dealership, the first thing I would punt would be the stupid waiting area where they have nasty.
Man, it's the best part.
No.
I got my laptop all set up. I got the Wi-Fi password, and I get to work.
Got your famous Amos.
Yep, famous Amos. Your dad loves those.
Ugh.
Connor, this is good. Maybe can Chris tell us his story? How did he find going from a teacher to a business manager? We'll save that for when Maddie's running low on content and the
That'll
Hex
be
vlog.
never.
Hexcast.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are your thoughts on BAV sound audio for BMW?
You know, I've been shopping it for so long, but I just have never pulled the trigger on it. I don't know. I mean, it's from what I understand, it's a mild improvement. It depends on the system that you have, but it's magical and it's plug and play. There's several other companies. There's what's the other guys that are here locally? Bimmer or Alpha something or other. I don't remember what it's called, but there's 3 or 4 companies that do this kind of plug and play stuff with BMWs. I think it's really cool. So I think you can improve the sound, but you're always going to be better off doing like a full, system on your own, doing separates and an amplifier and and a processor of some sort.
Mr. White Guy here in the chat, and I think I saw this. It may have been him earlier or someone else. I need a video on how to clean up after washing a car. What to do with the buckets, the wash mitts, the towels, etc. You ever thought about doing something like that?
I mean, I guess I do kind of sprinkle that in every video, but a lot of times I've done it so many times, especially in the earlier videos, that I kind of have cut that out of most of them. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'm cheating a little bit because, I've got the boom pole and all of that. So it'd probably be better to do it here where I have to put everything away. And we'd be cheating here because we'd be using the on-wall solution.
Let's see. Hey, Matt, this is from Valerio on Facebook. You often said that the F80 M3 is one of the best looking cars, and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thought on the new design direction with the recent leaks and supposedly huge front grills?
Well,
seen that?
Yeah, those are a bit ridiculous. They kind of open and close. I mean, I saw like the M340, the new 3 Series. It looked kind of cool. I don't know. I haven't really even thought about it. Would I get a new M3 if it didn't fart? I just think the likelihood of that happening is virtually zero. And I haven't. It's weird. Like I haven't even been looking at. I just assume that every new car is going to suck. There's not a single car that interests me at all. If the Supra seems to sound pretty good, so maybe we can get lucky and the M3 can have a similar sound to the Supra without farting and all of that crap. But I would want an M3. I would want it to be a sedan. I would want it to be a manual. I would want it to be a lot different than the F80 from how it sounds. If they can figure out how to way to deliver power like the F80, F82, the power delivery is amazing. But with the anti-lag and all the goofy tricks that they do to keep it from feeling like a turbo, it's too digital. But everything else I like about the car. But maybe I should go in and do a little digging into what some of the leaks have been showing. But yeah, those grills on the the X5 and the X7 are ridiculous. Who in their right frickin' mind sat around the table? A bunch of germs said, "Oh yeah, this is great. This looks awesome. This is the way to go. We need more prominent grills." Like what? Who? I want to just slap these people. Then they sit around and say, "Oh yeah, this car sounds great. We love the fart. This farting is awesome." The problem with the farting is now there's a whole generation of dum-dums that don't realize that sounds terrible and they think it sounds great. That is the one thing about the magic of the Corvette or the Camaro or the GT500, GT350. At least the darn Americans get it. That you don't want your car to sound like it's taking a dump every time you shift gears. But no, not the German. Now Porsche seems to have gotten it okay. They seem to have gotten it right. Can't be that hard. Let's not make it fart. Darn Mercedes and BMW. I should be the consultant. I should be sitting at that table and smack them. You're stop doing this. You're teaching a whole generation. These people think you're infallible. You're teaching a whole generation to love this horrible sound. And you're ruining it for everybody. Gosh.
Russell says on Instagram you posed all your vehicles and said the M3 was the best. Can you elaborate on that?
It's just the best car, the best looking. The GT3 is obviously the best car, but I just love that M3. Like, I feel like I can turn over an RS and get a different one, but the M3 I can't, and I can't get a different one. So that's why I say I like the M3 the most, because I could get a 992 RS, or I could get, like I just got rid of my beloved RS and got a new one. But I can't get rid of my beloved M3 and get a new one. So I think that car wins. And when you have them all there sitting there lined up, the M3 steals the show, I think. Just looks it's like that subtle difference of aftermarket and OE kind of combined to make it just look freaking ridiculous.
All right, Devin from Instagram wants to know, do you have any updates on the new foam cannon design that you shared a couple weeks ago?
No, Rob is targeting for the bottle. Hopefully they're going to show it at SEMA, and then they're targeting, January, February deliveries of a new bottle, and then a PF23 later next year. We don't really know what that would be. But I'm working on a quick disconnect for all the foam cannons. My buddy Rusty, who they normally make helicopters that blow stuff up. They how do they say it? They militarize helicopters. Put like Gatling guns and stuff on and make them freaking. It's like the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. He's like, yeah, we got a little downtime between projects. You got anything you can make? I was like, heck yeah. Can you fab up a quick disconnect so we can just pop the bottle and we don't have to screw it in? He's like, sure, we can do that. Send me some bottles. We sent him some bottles, and hopefully we'll have a prototype here shortly. And then once that's done, then MTM will want to make it too.
Gage says, do you have any thoughts on the Nexet line of products? I see other folks using them, including Detailers, Domain, etc.
Yeah, Nexet is derived as a derivation of Einzet. Einzet apparently went out of business, and someone else bought, I guess, the rights to the recipes, the chemical makeup. And so I don't know the whole story, but I was in love with a lot of Einzet products. Color Tech was a product that I used to clean the wheels. And then Cockpit Premium's amazing interior cleaner. But we found so much inconsistency in the new Nexet versions of them. Some would stink up your house. Some would stink up your interior of your car. Some were stronger than not. And then we'd have issues of not being able to get it. And it's just been this constant fight, and it forced me to kind of start looking at some other products. And so I don't think you can go wrong with most of the stuff, other than there's been inconsistency in the product line. But Mike, who runs Einzet USA or Nexet USA, is a great resource, and I still think it's a great product line. I may see some of it come back into my line or my process at some point. Their deep plastic cleaner is great. They've got a lot of awesome products. I think their windshield additive is great, especially if you're up north. They've got a lot of great products, but again, after Einset went away, then Nexet seemed to be kind of hit or miss.
All right, AAAR 35 wants to know, do you think the Dundon exhaust products will ever be offered through the OG store?
Jamie said if I ever wanted to, I could. I certainly have enough content and information for it. I've thought about it, just creating solutions for just the cars that I will always own. An M3 and an RS. I don't know. And in the margins, he would offer me pretty decent margins on it, so I could offer it. We don't have the bandwidth to lose focus by doing that. But I could see having a very boutique, very niche, where I would have one exhaust, one cell phone odor, one blend mount, one radar detector, for several cars. It's like the one suspension, one, and just basically build. Here is the Mormon package. Here's what I would suggest you do. And then we'd offer a full package and then offer an a la carte, just like the car washing package. Here's one soap, one, drying aid, one drying towel. Not like here's 14 soaps and you pick one. That's a retail thing. So I do think, Sean from PSI and I have talked about that. I don't have the bandwidth to do that at this moment. I also have the same concept could happen for home theater. Same concept could happen for many different things. I'm likely going to be implementing this concept into CrossFit. So that's why I've got to get in shape if I'm going to look the part.
All right, Jonathan on Facebook says, now that you're a ways into the transition from wealth management to OG full-time, can you reflect on some of the good and bad that you've experienced?
So I've said this several times. I'm very, very confused at what to tell someone who would ask me for advice. The 22-year-old or 28 or 19-year-old version of me, I get that often. And I used to have all the answers for them. Say, here's what I think you do. You go, you get take as many accounting courses as possible, get your CFA, figure out how to not be a financial advisor, figure out how to become an investment banker first. The chance of you getting a job like that is pretty slim. So maybe a financial advisor could be a good follow-up, unless you've gone to MIT or Harvard or you're at Princeton or you're like top of your class at a Georgetown or a Villanova or something like that. Forget it. You're not going to become an investment banker. You're not getting that job. But if you did, you go to Carnegie Mellon, you get into investment banking, get your CFA, chase that. And so in the financial world or the financial corporate world, I thought I had the answers. And so I'd advise people on what to do depending on what their goal was, and I felt like I could give some proper advice, and I still understand that path, but it's harder for me to explain the same stuff because I don't want that path anymore, and so. There are very, very few people where that's going to be their passion. They're just going to do it for the money, do it for the security, do it for the success of it, and that's what I was doing. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. I just don't want that anymore. I think I figured out a way to be even more successful with pure passion. It may take longer. It may not happen the same way, but being I think I at some point I'll be able to provide more value from discussing being an entrepreneur or business owner. I'm like a guppy, so for me to be able to give anybody advice on that, because I stumbled into a lot of this stuff, and I could tell you the recipe, how this worked out, but the likelihood of you having that same set of circumstances, somebody else having that is, especially if you're young, is zero, or approaching zero. And so it's been harder for me to really understand, what are the pros and cons, why this is working, why or what it's headed toward. I can surmise, but I mean, one thing I cannot fathom. This is very similar to when I moved to Florida. When I packed up my crap, moved from Pennsylvania to Florida, I never even considered moving back. Like, it was never like, I never even had like a thought or like a passing thought. So the same things happen to me now. Is like, I couldn't imagine going and working for somebody else. To the point of, I don't even want sponsors because I don't want anything to do with them telling me what to do. I mean, I guess I'm working for everybody listening to this podcast, but it's not that I don't like to. I'd actually really enjoy the competition of climbing the corporate ladder. I think I'm well suited for that. I think I can win at those kind of things, but I just don't want that. And so, I mean, I don't know how to tell somebody to do what it is I'm doing, because they probably can't. It doesn't make me special or better. It's this primordial soup of of all of these things that have happened, life experience, we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, my neurosis, my my thought process, my work ethic or lack thereof, depending on what we're talking about, my style and personality. All of these things kind of came together to create something for me. How do you do something like that for you? But what I am certain of is that there is zero, let's say, darn near 0% chance I'll be going back to wealth management. I'll go do something else. I'll go run somebody else's company. I'll go organize a warehouse or something. I mean, I've toured a bunch of detailing facilities. I could go, or I've toured a bunch of facilities that I can go and get paid really, really well to save them lots of money by just being me, by being obsessed. And wealth management is, I feel like, the other thing I have a hard time, especially with my experience of it, is they're in trouble because of the rule sets that are written. They're in trouble because the world is passing them by. And yeah, you'll always have people that want to, that personal relationship with somebody managing their money. But if you can't provide value over and above what's, something that costs virtually nothing, which I was finding increasingly difficult, and if you're unable to share who you are, unless you're a golfer, you can golf all you want, but if you're anything else, you have to almost disconnect that, because otherwise it can be misconstrued as marketing, and you don't want to go there. Because then you'll get walked out the door. So it's a difficult place to, if you're in the wealth management field, to chase in a modern world, especially if you're young. You kind of need to wait till you're older. And the chances of you chasing that field, waiting until you're older, you're probably already making too much money to take 10 steps back to go and do it and start it from scratch. But it is a very lucrative, very great career path. You have a great life. You'll never miss your kids' softball games or basketball games if you set it up properly, but the likelihood of it existing for 30 years is pretty slim, I think, because unless they rewrite the rules, robo advising and these other industries are going to disrupt it so much that it's not going to be as hard to do it. And so the owners of whoever owns these robo-type advising type facilities there'll be one or two people making lots of money, not an army of salespeople, because they don't need them. They don't need the salespeople to go out and develop personal relationships with people. And that's what I'd stumbled on with Obsessed Garage and Obsessed Wealth, was a way to really connect the two, but it just doesn't fit in the architecture of the current securities laws. It doesn't fit where you can share your life on social platforms and then people make a connection. I really wanted to be able to discuss it more, and it's just not practical. You can't do it legally and do it to where you would need to stay relevant with what's happening in the world, unless you just go door to door and you're a really good salesperson. But again, at some point, I think that becomes vulnerable if Mint.com has a better algorithm than the guy that you're talking to down the street, because he's making you 4% a year, when you could just take it to Mint.com and net of fees make 7. I mean, and once people start word starts to spread, it's a really difficult place to make it.
All right, Duan back on in Facebook says, back in July, I asked you about your thought process behind progressing from Honda to BMW, then finally graduating to Porsche. I was considering to buy an F80 M3 and wanted to know if I was ready to step into the M3 world. After hearing your and Chris's input, I was ready to move forward, but I ended up ordering the M2 competition thanks to your M3 exit interview. The dilemma I have now is whether or not to PPF. I live in New Jersey, so I deal with horrendous roads and snow every winter. If you were living in such an area, would you elect to PPF?
I think it depends on how you drive, first off. So if you're an more aggressive driver, you tend to ride behind people, tightly. Or if you're on the turnpike, the Jersey Turnpike, or you're on, the interstate often, you're going to the city often, I'd be inclined to say yeah. The other thing is if you absolutely love the car, like if it's your life's pursuit and you just want to keep it looking nice, it will help you sleep at night. But if this is a temporary stepping stone and you're a careful driver and you care for it, and maybe you have another car that you drive as well, or have access to in the winter and things like that. It doesn't sound like he does. It sounds like this is his car. It's just a lot of money, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, depending on how much you do and how you do it and who does it. It's a lot of money to protect your car from a few dozen rock chips that whomever you give the car to next isn't going to care about. But I don't know. I think if you're struggling, if you have $10,000 in your bank account and you're about to write a $4,500 check, and you're paying $1,200 a month in a car payment, I don't think you freaking PPF it. If you got $85,000 in your bank account and you got a $600 a month payment on your car, and you love this car and you're going to keep it for a while, then I'd say sure. I think those are two kind of examples of. But even then, an M2, like my M3, my M5, I mean, they're not PPF. Now I'm in Florida, but I also take care. I know those cars don't have PPF on them, so I'm not tailgating a semi. I'm maneuvering, and I'll get 4 rock chips in the next 5 years, and I don't have to look at PPF for those 5 years. I'd rather have the rock chips. What I don't want is 400 rock chips. That's why I put PPF on my RS. That's why I'm going to put it on the Corvette, because I'm going to be riding bumper to bumper on the track in that thing.
Do you have any plans on laser shifters for any of your cars?
No. AL priority is the standard in that. I've never had anybody laser me in this area. And I've got freaking 5 cars, and so each one of them will cost you a couple $1,000, and then I turn them over all the time, and I'd be leaving these shifters in every car, or having to pay, $1,000, or even worse, my time to go out there and pull it all out and put it in the new one. So I just don't find the value in that. I mean, I'd rather, knock on wood, I'd rather get a ticket once a year than spending, I'd end up spending probably $5,000 or $6,000 a year in laser shifters, and I really, the areas where I'm going to drive more aggressively, like I'm not an aggressive driver around town at all. I'm actually pretty slow, cautious driver. It's when you've seen me on back roads, is when I let her rip, and that's where radar is generally sufficient, especially in this area. But if you're in some areas where they're laser, maybe it makes sense. I know lots of guys in Boston end up doing a lot of laser stuff, but again, I think it comes down to how many cars you got. If you have a lot of cars, you turn over cars a lot, I just don't think the value's there for that.
All right, are you ever using ONR anymore?
Yeah. Well, I just used OptiClean the other day. Yeah, I use it occasionally. But just like always just occasionally. If I'm traveling somewhere, I always take it with me. Or if, I O&R'd the Corvette the other day when we were working on the suspension. I'm like, let me just do a O&R cleanup on this thing. But I just don't like how messy it is. I would prefer to just wash the car.
All right, from Jacob in the chat here. As a Gen 1 Raptor owner, I love watching the Raptor videos. Do you plan on any further modifications? Fiberglass, suspension, boost, etc.?
No, that's Michelle's car, and she's kind of slowly getting trashed as time goes on. No, I don't foresee any change to that thing. Maybe new tires when the tires get worn down. I'll probably maybe just do new methods on it. Just order new wheels, sell the old ones, and start fresh when I need to get new tires in 15,000 miles. I do want to do a correction series on it at some point and recode it. But I've kind of not. It's not that I've given up on it. It's just, the C-Quartz has held up fantastically well, but it's kind of become a vehicle that it's not that I don't care about. It's her car, and if I care too much, then it stresses me out when there's a freaking lollipop stuck to the door panel.
Which of your cars offer the most comfortable seating position?
The GT3. Yeah, it's the hardest to get in and out of, but once you're in it, definitely. But the BMW Performance seats in the M3 are amazing. The M5 seats suck. I hate them. But I don't like that kind of big couch feel. I like a little bit. I like to sit upright like a freaking grown-up, not like a baby. And I want to sit upright. I want my arms to be slightly bent. If I reached over the steering wheel, my elbow or my wrist would drape over the edge of the steering wheel. I want to look through the middle of the the windshield, or upper 3/4 of it or lower. And I don't want my seat freaking squeaking crazy. So, opposite of the Corvette. Everything opposite of the Corvette.
All right, Kevin has an easy question here. I've been using Turtle Wax, Rain-X, and Armor All for years.
Mm-hmm. Punt all that in the trash. Keep going.
What can I use on my car to step up my game?
Anything but all of that.
Yeah, just go to obsessgarage.com, car washing package, and it's got everything you need.
It was interesting to see, Turtle Wax obviously is hired a marketing firm of some sort to get everybody out there to Arizona, where I think it was Scottsdale or something. I don't remember. You remember where the invite was? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But they were smart, and they invited all of the these kind of all mid-level YouTube people, that are all of us guys that are in that, that 15 to 400,000 subscriber, YouTube realm of, detail specific people. I'm not going to those kind of things, but it seemed like a pretty cool, networking thing for all the guys. So I almost kind of felt bad that I didn't go, because I could have met probably some cool people and hung out with Pan and then the guys that were there. I would have been most excited to meet John Forensic Detailing. I like that guy. I think he's probably cool to hang out with. But so Turtle Wax spent a bunch of money to have a bunch of people come out there and use the products, and I feel bad for those guys, because now they have to. When you do that, when you let somebody buy your ticket for the purpose of marketing their product for them, now they have to talk about these goofy products that they're trying, but they're too late. They don't have the right people that would even know how to make a product right. It's just but they're not marketing to me. They'd like to, so they're not marketing to us, the prosumer. They're marketing to just that guy that's just made that post who's busting my balls here, who's not really using that crap. But you wax the car, and I guess you can just have a scratched up shiny car. It's not to say Turtle Wax isn't going to scratch it up, but if you're using those kind of things, then you're probably not polishing, and you're not washing properly, and you're using your old T-shirt, your old Def Leppard T-shirt to wash the car, And not that I'm not hating on Def Lep here, but it's time to stop buying Costco towels. Let's do this right. I'm teaching you how to do it. Doesn't cost you that much. Only $8,000.
All right, got two more things to address here. Number one, and Christopher Michael on Facebook and Scott Francis on Instagram both can ask the same question. Could I prepay or pay ahead my Hex Plus membership for next year to gain entries towards the garage giveaway?
Yeah, how do we do that?
I don't know. Have to figure that out with Bryce.
I want to do that.
Because people bought in for the 1M.
Yeah, just buy another year, or
Yeah.
they have 10 months left
Right.
to buy 12 months ahead of schedule.
Also, is there a reason everything is worth 5 entries versus making each item 1 entry?
Yeah, we're trying to eliminate the viability of the douchey people who send in note cards to try to get in for free.
Right. So mail-in entry last time was essentially equivalent to someone who purchased.
Yeah, don't talk
a
about
product.
that. Yeah, the
Yeah.
freaking losers.
So we can, in theory, you add more entries. Okay, this is worth 5 now instead of 1, and they're outweighed a lot
I
more
hate
that way.
that, but that's what we got to do. I freaking hate it. I wanted to keep it simple, but I'm not going to share the details of this one. I feel like I've gained enough credibility with people. I'll probably tell you how much money I made on it or lost, but I'm not going to get into the details of it because I think people trust me now that I'm going to try to do this on the up and up. And the reason I'm not going to get into details is because these losers that try to mess it up. So, screw it. I'll probably share it all. You know that. You know better than that.
All right, Jonathan Robinson, and then Troy chimed in with his answer. We'll see if you agree. Don't look.
Okay.
What Porsche would you recommend for a first-time Porsche buyer with a $100K budget?
Yeah, GT4. Yeah.
981 GT4. That's the
Yeah, or that's kind of jumping right in head first, to one of the best cars ever built in the history of the universe. But there's, you can buy one for $70,000, $80,000 now. It'd be hard to say go buy a 2014 Carrera S. It depends on how big you are. If you're a bigger, like if you're your size, that probably wouldn't get a GT4. I would get I'd get a Carrera S, like a 2014 or 15, if you can find somewhere around 100K, is what I would chase. The other car that would be great would be a Cayman GTS, pre-turbo. I forget what's the code. It's not 781, whatever it was before that. So the Cayman GTS, like a 2015, would be an amazing car. So something like that, depending on what you're looking for. But if you're going to buy a Cayman GTS, you might as well try to get a GT4.
I know he has some parting words for you here. Matt, I'm currently chasing my passion on the weekends and after work, but hope to make it my career one day just like you did. Your business advice and talks always help me, so thanks for the free advice. There you go. Some good note from Noe there.
Well, I'm hoping that I'm not providing advice and kind of leading by example. I'm just setting an example for certain people to either like or dislike. And I think if you really ask yourself, if you really are honest with yourself, I think you'd be hard pressed. I'm just sharing what I'm doing, and you may or may dislike my experience of things because I don't really do too much opinion talk. I'm not talking about things that I don't know anything about. I'm not talking about drapes. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about things that I've just never even considered. I don't talk about watches. I don't talk about I don't know. There aren't. I can't even think of things because I don't have any interest in them. They don't even come up in my head. But what I do know is that we put all of those products out on the shelf there on the countertop, and I do know something about what I know something about. And so I'm hoping by sharing something like, for me, it's hard to explain, but I said this earlier in the podcast about this experience of being able to give away the garage. I'm not super excited about spending money and giving away. I'm not super excited about making a bunch of money because I think the garage thing will make me a bunch of money. I don't really care about either one of those. What's so cool to me to see is all of this work, all of this effort, all of this thinking about what I want to use in my garage, and then the ability to be able to stand on a pulpit like I am and share it share this stuff, this information that I've accumulated over the years in a very obsessed fashion has really been life-changing for me, and see it all on the counter, all lined up. I'm like, holy crap, this is insane. And that wasn't even most of the stuff, because we didn't have any piping and air compressors laying around. There was just the detailing stuff, and there's still more that I need to get and create. And we have air compressing parts coming, and all kinds of stuff that I'm dreaming up. So yeah, I'm hoping that some people understand what I'm trying to do, and I know they do. So
all right, one last update here on the thumbs up. We have 81 thumbs up and 6 thumbs down, so that was good.
yeah, cool.
That worked out well.
Let's get to 100. Let's get to 100. Can I get 90? Can I get a 90? Get me to 100 people. There's 82. Can I get 85? 85, 85, 85, 95, 95.
I feel the thumbs down coming.
Oh shoot! Give me a thumbs down. Somebody give me a thumbs down. I want to see it. We're at 6. 6. Give me 7. Give me a 7. Give me a 7, then an thumbs down it, and give me a thumbs up. Okay. Yeah.
We have to keep talking until we get to 100.
We'll get more thumbs up because we usually get thousands more views afterwards. I'm shocked that anybody, this. Maybe it's regularity. Maybe we're providing some value of some sort. But, when I sat down and said, hey, I'd like you to moderate me on the podcast, and let's schedule it every week so we can maintain some consistency. I really enjoy doing this. It's one of those things that, like, I told Bryce to just eliminate the top section of Inside the Hex, because I don't have it. Where I was going to just give you what I learned this week, but apparently I don't learn anything. It's probably because I think I know everything, but this, I'm really pleased at how this has turned out. We do, each episode probably gets, 10, 11, 12,000 downloads, which is pretty incredible considering, I'm just sitting here talking at you and we're doing the same thing over and over. So I'm really psyched. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching this. It inspires me to continue to share what it is I'm fumbling through every day of my life, and hopefully at some point I can understand the point of view that others have that don't realize what the heck I'm trying to do here, when it frustrates the heck out of me when people are stupid.
All right, so next week we'll talk about your upcoming SEMA trip, among other things, but check out the garage giveaway if you're interested in that sort of thing. It's going to be big.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.